Welcome to this episode of Kennedy Saves the World. So it's never too early to look to 2028 because now that this presidential election was recently settled, it's time to look forward to 4 years from now because that's what we do in this country. We are addicted to the perpetual presidential election cycle. And that's what we've got. So now looking forward, obviously, Gavin Newsom pulling far, far behind Kamala Harris. And a concerned Republican called me the other day, was like, oh my God, Kamala Harris is in the lead right now. It's like, yeah, so was Rand Paul in early 2015. And I love Rand Paul, and I think he would make a great president, but he didn't win in 2016, now did he? So, we are 4 years out. I think that Gavin Newsom's fortunes will continue to implode because California is not in a good space right now. The foundation that he has laid has really been born of progressivism. And progressivism, we have seen it. Those of us who are not statists, we called it long, long ago after learning the lessons from the fall of communism in Eastern Europe. It doesn't work. It harms people. It kills more people than capitalism. These are bad systems, which, the underpinnings may be well intended, but the actual outcomes are very deleterious, as we should say. So Newsom, I don't think he is going to be a big factor, even though he looks and sounds like a politician. That's not going to be enough. I think our politics will only grow weirder in the next 4 years. And if the economy improves, as it is looking to do, because of the natural ebbs and flows of capitalism, I think you're going to see the economy improve. And that means that J.D. Vance's chances will also blossom over the next 4 years, and he will emerge as the front runner. He absolutely will be challenged from other people, but he will make his way out of that process. He will have been a senator and a vice president, and I think he could do very well since he will be only coming off of one Trump term since we had the Biden hiccup in the middle. So you have to look toward the Democrat side. And Josh Shapiro, not pulling well right now, also obviously doesn't matter. In this moment, he is much better suited as a Democrat. He is in an executive role, which is always more attractive for voters from the swing state that swung toward Trump. So obviously he's not going to poison the way he governs with progressivism. But if you look at places like Denver and Chicago, where they're still very drunk on the sort of socialistic statism that has crippled their cities and states, you can see that it's not going to be popular moving into the future. So who has been the face of progressivism? AOC, not Bernie Sanders, because I don't know that he's long for this political world or the material world. God bless him. And, but we have been sort of terrorized by those 80 plus politicians who love the power and don't want to lose their grasp on expanding government for their own fruitful longings. But you have someone like AOC who has great name recognition. Everyone knows who she is. Republicans absolutely despise her. Half of Democrats are very skeptical of her because she has used that progressive bully pulpit to get people elected who've really just been in it for themselves. Blowhards like Jamal Bowman and Cori Bush, who were unseated unceremoniously this year, which I thought was fantastic because they are the worst of the Democrat Party because they're not really Democrats. These are Justice Democrats. So that basically means that they're unapologetic socialists. So that's how AOC made herself her household name. And now she's obviously looking to 2028 because she wants to go big. She wants Chuck Schumer's Senate seat. She wants to be president. She wants as much power concentrated as possible because I think once you start heading down that path and you have some success, although arguably she's not very successful because she doesn't propose or pass legislation, she just blathers a lot.
Don't go anywhere. More Kennedy Saves the World right after this.
But she's now saying that she is not going to continue helping her progressive squad members or future squad members primary other people. And that's because progressivism has failed. And that was borne out in this election. It wasn't just the allure of another Trump presidency. It wasn't just the Make America Great Again people who loved Donald Trump from the moment he came down the stairs at Trump Tower, the escalator rather. These are people who don't like the status of our immigration woes right now. These are people who see what the government has done with inflation and how even though they can't afford anything, you have people in power telling them that they are rich, making fun of them. People like Ron Klain saying that, the only people worried about inflation are rich people who just want their Pelotons and supply this and that. It's like, no, actually, it's normal, hardworking people who don't get a handout from government, who see a lot of their tax money go to God knows what. It feels like it's just supporting illegal immigrants, some of whom are violent, and there's not a lot left over for their families. So that has been the shift. So what does progressivism want to do? It wants to increase taxation. It wants to take more of your money for those projects like Medicare for All and the Green New Deal to make sure that the economy is totally hamstrung, because that makes even more people dependent on government. Of course, the math breaks down at some point because, as Margaret Thatcher very famously said, the problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money to spend. And that's what they're seeing. These cities are broke. They feel less safe. You see people fleeing from them if they can. The citizens who can't afford to, they're stuck in places in the parts of the city where there's higher crime. There are fewer police joining the force. And it's just kind of a bummer all around. So instead of saying, yeah, progressivism has failed, AOC says, what's in it for me? So she has promised to not primary other people like she did Joe Crowley in 2018 when she was elected. She primaried an incumbent and popular Democrat with her socialist claptrap. And she's been our problem ever since. It's been, 6 years of AOC. So she wants more power. She wants more time in office. She wants a higher profile. So she's trying to go mainstream Democrat. So look for that triangulation over the next couple years. Can she sell it? I will give her this. She's really, really good at marketing. So she, if anyone, is capable of using their name recognition to capitalize on people's fears. She will absolutely do that. And she also had no problem with the way Joe Biden was shivved. Do I hope that people like her continue to thrive in power? I do not. I hope that there are more limited government libertarians, Republicans, and Democrats who get into office and they see this wonderful trend emerging of actually meaningfully cutting government, and they give themselves over to that brand of shrinking the footprint, because it will benefit us all. Mark my words. It will lead to less government intrusion and lower taxation. Taxation is theft. AOC is empty. But will she be president? She will not. But you'll hear a lot about her because she's very good at sucking the oxygen out of a room. Naughty. This has been Kennedy Saves the World. I'm Kennedy.
Listen ad-free with the Fox News Podcast Plus subscription on Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Prime members can listen to this show ad-free on the Amazon Music app.
Oh, go ahead and leave me a review while you're there. I'd love to hear what you have to say. You've been listening to Kennedy Saves the World on the Fox News Podcast Network.